Edinburgh put lots of opportunities in front of me, and all I had to do was take them.
There is just so much to do in this city. Always something new to discover.
I love exploring Edinburgh. I found the people here very friendly and so much fun.
The city is known for being a global innovator in so many fields. That's what made it very attractive.
Edinburgh University is highly ranked worldwide. It's got such a strong academic reputation, which is why I was so eager to come here.
Edinburgh was always where I wanted to go to university during high school years.
It's a city with so many opportunities. It's a city you can be yourself in, and it's a city that challenges you.
Volleyball was a huge part of my life before starting university. It's been great playing it here as team captain.
The city has given me global opportunities to build my career, and I'll always be grateful for that.
The environment here has changed me. I've discovered my own independence.
I've made a lot of friends in Edinburgh. Scottish people are so welcoming. They've made me feel part of the city.
Everything I wanted to do, Edinburgh made happen. That's what university should be about. You need to be in a city that can inspire you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was it for all.
There are a lot of world-class universities, but how many of them are in world-class cities?
Go Edinburgh.
Go Edinburgh.
Go Edinburgh. Go Edinburgh. Go Edinburgh. Come on, Edinburgh!
Well, very good morning to you, everybody, and welcome to the Royal Commonwealth Pool for day 2 of the Edinburgh International Swim Meet. What a day we had yesterday, some fantastic swims, lots and lots of good things to enjoy. Meet records, national records, we had 2 national records, in fact a Spanish one in the 200 free, Castroval, and Monique Olivier absolutely smashed her 400 free Luxembourg record. So that was maybe the highlights, meet records from a number of people. Duncan Scott equalled his, and then we had improvements from Wilby in the 200 breaststroke. In fact, his was the top performance yesterday. 200 breaststroke, prize money for the top events. But today is a new day, and this is what's coming up today. We start off with 400 IM, then go on to just a single heat of 800 freestyle. The fastest heat will swim in the final session this evening. Our sprints today, lots of sprints today. 50 backstroke for the men and the women early on in the programme. Later on you can see there 50 free for the men and 50 breast for the women. In between them we've got men's 100 breaststroke and women's 100 butterfly and male 200 fly, and double dose of 400 IM this morning, with the 4 women coming up later this morning, with the men leading us off. And then after the second lot of sprints, we've got men's 800 freestyle, so double dose of 800 free as well. And then women's 200 freestyle finishes off the session. So plenty to get excited about, lots of exciting talent. And you can see there behind the caption, we've got swimmers ready to go in this first heat of 400 IM. We've got 3 heats of 400 IM. Take you through. There will be 4 going in this first heat. I'm Duncan McKinnell. I'll be taking you through the action this morning, and let's hope that we get the same sort of standard of swimming as we saw earlier on. There's the lineup for the first heat. There'll be 4 swimmers, as I said. David Arioli, he was on fine form yesterday, set a new meet junior record yesterday. He goes for Millfield in lane 3. Then next to him, Gianna Napolitano from the University of Stirling. His teammate, Tony Joe Trett Oliver, will go in lane 5. David Miller goes for Bath University in lane 6. So they're the foursome. There's just a little bit of prep going on, but the whistle goes now for our first heat. So we are just about ready to go. Entry times for these 4 guys, 4:35 up to 4:37. So off they go. Lane 4, Gianna Napolitano. They had the best start. But beside him, Tony Joe Trett Oliver in the white cap. So there's not too much to separate them as we come up to the 50. 28-16 the split. Giano by 3/10. But the 2 of them essentially side by side, coming down the second length of butterfly. And they've opened up a pretty handy lead early on the other 2, David and David, with Giano and Tony Joe now the 2 Stirling guys. They'll know each other well, training partners at Stirling. So they'll probably not be surprised that they are coming into the 100 together. 101.14, it's Tony Joe just getting the touch. Into backstroke then. There's the lead around 7 metres now. So the 2 of them still pretty much side by side. Perhaps Giano just edging back into the lead. Well, that camera position maybe suggests differently, but we'll see as they come alongside the camera. Give us a clearer view in it. In fact, it is the other way around. It's Tony Joe just ahead. 137.11, up by a couple of tenths. David now just ahead of David in 3rd place, but still quite a long way back from the 2 Stirling swimmers. Tony Joe now just opening up the gap a bit in the second half of the backstroke. About a metre clear, approaching halfway. And now extending that to about a body length. 2:11.95, the halfway split. Tony Joe was bronze medalist at the Dave McCullough meet in Bangor a couple of weeks ago. 4th in the Scottish National Championships. And he's maintaining that lead in the breaststroke. In fact, he's building it, I think. And we're seeing David Arioli. That's that excellent breaststroke from him yesterday. And showing the breaststroke skills in lane 3, but still some way back on particularly Tony Joe, who's now well clear. This has been a really good breaststroke leg from him. He's opened up the gap on Gianna Napolitano to about 4 or 5 meters, and continuing to build that in this section of the race. So 100 free to go. 3:31.92. So around about a 120 split for the breaststroke for Tony Joe. And certainly looking set to take this opening heat. It's becoming a bit of a tussle for second now. You can see the 3 of them more or less together, and David Arioli looking very powerful. I think it was in fact the freestyle where he got that record yesterday. In that supercharged event we had yesterday, 200 freestyle. Won in the end by Tom Dean in a new personal best time. But this one is going to be won by Tony Joe Tret Oliver. Although David Arioli is really closing the gap. You would think he'll run out of pool before he gets to Tony Joe, but he's not going to be far away. Fantastic last 100 from David. Tony Joe will be glad to get to the wall there. 4:38.37, so pretty close to his entry time. Good swim to shake off the cobwebs on this Saturday morning. 4:39.13 for David, and David Miller taking 3rd, just ahead of Gian Napolitano. On to heat 2. This one we've got a couple of empty lanes in 6 and 7. So 6 swimmers go, with George Smith of Ellesmere College in lane 1, Joel Thompson in lane 2, also from Ellesmere College. In lane 3 it's Zach Logue from Newcastle Swim Team. In 4, Brodie Williams of Millfield. 5 is Jacob Greeno of Bath University, and Miles Drabwell, who's also for Bath University, in lane 8. First to the wall, Brodie Williams of Millfield. Winner in Geneva in January. Bronze medalist in the British Championships. Represented Great Britain in the European short course. 13th there. Jacob Greeno closest to him, about 1.5 meters back. At the end of the butterfly. 58.83 for Williams. Greeno also under the minute at the 100. Out on his own in lane 8, Miles Drabwell, vying for 3rd with Zach Logue. Out of the backstroke turn, and this is proving to be a good section of the race for Jacob Greeno. He has closed the gap now on Brodie Williams. Jacob, bronze medalist at British universities. We won the British Summer Championships last July in Glasgow, and he's now right up with Brodie as they go to breaststroke. 2:07.22 and 2:07.48 the 2 times. 3 of the other 4 contesting third. Thompson, Logue and Drabwell. So that's the second race going on here. Yep. So we see the 2 leaders coming down towards the turn. Williams just about still got the edge. Oh no, he hasn't actually. The touch going to Greeno, 2:47.05. Well, that maybe just was about how they negotiated their turns, because certainly as far as I can see they are absolutely level at the moment, just slightly varying in their stroke positions. And they are continuing to build their lead on the other 3. As Greeno in fact now just has maybe a slight edge as they come to 300. The touch is 3:26.51 against 3:26.79 for Williams. Forest top 8 will progress to A final. No B final in the 400s. There is a junior final, though most of the juniors will be swimming in the second session later today. So final turn, it's still Greeno, 4:00.32, he's up by 4/10. You would think both of these will be comfortably into the A final, so no real signs that they are racing to win here. It's all about just tracking each other down towards the finish. Maybe there'll be a little sprint from one of them in the last few meters. Let's see if Brodie perhaps just wants to edge it, and he does that. I think he knew exactly what he was doing there. 4:30.70 paid the win by a couple of tenths. 4:30.91 for Jacob, and the battle for third going to Zat Logue. 4:38.20. You see that there on your screen. So Brodie just decided that he wanted the touch there at the end and had a little bit of extra power in those last few meters just to make sure of it. So third heat, 1 empty lane, lane 1. And we have William Riley of Bath University in lane 2, Callum Laurie from the University of Stirling in 3, Mark Sharanek of the University of Stirling in 4, Charlie Hutchinson of Ellesmere College in 5, Max Murphy of Loughborough in 6, Baptiste Colomar of Stade Clermont in 7, and Rory Dixon of the University of Stirling in 8. Mark Sharanek second behind Duncan Scott in the 200 IM yesterday. We're looking to the fastest qualifier here. Lane 2 is William Riley. He's off to a decent start. So they are 1 and 2 coming down to the 100. Sharanek, I think, will just about have the touch. Well, maybe not. Let's see. Yes, he does. 59.98. So that's actually slower than we saw in the previous heat by about a second. Sharanek, silver medalist in last year's British Championships, silver medalist in the Gold Coast in the Commonwealth Games for Scotland. But it looks like it is now Riley who's gone ahead of him. William Riley of Bath did his entry time at British Universities, so pretty recent time, 4:27.02. And he has about a body length lead now, so he's having a very good backstroke section. Third place in lane 5, the junior swimmer Charlie Hutchinson, 18-year-old, very promising IEMA, fourth in the European Juniors last year. So 2:06.82, now 4/10 faster than the previous heat. You'd expect Sharanek to come back in the breaststroke. So let's see if he does. Looking pretty relaxed at the moment in lane 4, and still a fair way back on Riley. With Hutchinson there in the black cap behind him in lane 5. It does look like it. Riley is pushing it out harder here. 2:46.45. He's up by just over a second and a half, halfway through the breaststroke. He's, I think, gradually squeezing up now. Hutchinson is moving up nicely. Charlie, member of the Scottish Youth Squad, was 5th in this pool at the Scottish National Short Course Championships back in December. Same position, 5th in the British Championships last year. Real promising talent for the future in IM. But it's still Riley. He's held that lead pretty well in the breaststroke, still about 1.5 meters up. 3:25.89, about 7/10 faster than the previous heat. Sharanek still a fair way back on him, and Hutchinson. These three now clear of the next group, 3 swimmers headed in lane 6 by Max Murphy. And final turn, still Riley has the advantage. Let's see what the gap is now. 3:57.95, so 1.5 seconds. So I'm not sure that Sharanek will be able to close that down in the final length here. In fact, he has to worry about Charlie Hutchinson next to him, who's right on his shoulder now. So very nice swim from William Riley in lane 2. Surely is going to see this one finished, although they are coming at him now. Sharanek has certainly picked up the pace, and Hutchinson as well, but they're not going to catch William Riley. He touches in 4:28.47, so he'll have lane 4 in the final, assuming nothing very surprising happens this afternoon. Second was Sharanek, and third Charlie Hutchinson. A very good swim there from William Riley. 4:27 was his entry time, so not quite as fast as that, but only a second and a half, less than a second and a half away from it. That bodes well for later on. Confirmation there, Max Murphy on that battle for 4th. So we're done with 400 IM. We have just the single heat of 800 freestyle. Looks like there are just 3 swimmers lined up for this. There were scheduled to be 5, but 2 have dropped out. So we've got Blair Hughes, City of Glasgow, in 2. Natasha Simpson of Warrender in 3. And Kerry Gillespie, Aberdeen Performance, in 4. So an all Scottish heat here. All 3 are juniors, with 2 juniors to come in the heat that will take place in the final session. So the target for these girls is to set a standard for those juniors. Just a confirmation of their names there: Hughes, Simpson and Gillespie. Entry times: 9:21 for Natasha, the fastest of the 3 on paper. Kerry Gillespie 9:36, Leah Hughes 9:37. Out of the first turn, it is Natasha Simpson with the narrow lead. Youth Development Squad member here in Scotland. Won last year's Scottish National Age Group Championships. Beside her, Kerry Gillespie, both of them 15 this year. In fact, all 3 girls 15 this year. 107.51 and 107.67, the only two leading times. Up to the 150. Natasha still with a narrow lead. Just a tenth in it. 143.56 and 66. Hughes a couple of seconds back now. So coming up to 200 metres. Looks like maybe Kerry just taking it on now to 19.55. She just has the touch by about 4/10. Around about a 112 split for the two girls. Does look as though they're going to be pretty well matched for a while. We'll see if somebody makes a break as this race progresses. .256.21 and 256.74, so half a second the gap now. Kerry pushing it on pretty nicely here. Don't have a huge amount of form for her on 800s. Top 8 position in the North District Open in November. That was a short course meet. She's got a lead of about 1.5 meters as we come to the 300. 3:32.57. So 1:13 that time, so slightly slower that 100. About a second slower than the previous one. I think we are looking at something in the mid 9:30s, roughly around Kerry's entry time, 9:36 at the moment, but still fairly early days. .408.74 and 4:10.20, so the lead is up to 1.5 seconds now. Natasha won't want it to grow much more than that, you wouldn't have thought. Keep herself in play for later on in the race. But certainly at the moment, it's the Aberdonian with the upper hand. So another 1:13 would be 4:45 here. And we are bang on to that, 4:45.17. So slightly under the 1:13, in fact, about 1:12.5, just over. And the gap is still continuing to grow here, gradually. It does look as though Leah Hughes may be making some ground on Natasha Simpson as well, so it's not looking too good for Natasha at the moment. But Kerry Gillespie will just push on hard, try and get clear of her 5:21.86. So the lead now is nearly 4 seconds. Pretty aggressive stroking from Kerry here. Too much going on in the legs, but certainly the arms working hard. Coming up to 500, 5:58.69, so about 1:13.5 that time. maybe dropped about a second, maybe. Now the girls pretty much together in second. Natasha has been caught by Leah. Well, Hughes fourth in last year's National Age Group Championships and went one better in the West District of Scottish Swimming. Bronze at Tollcross recently. But they're going to be running out of time now to make any impact on Kerry Gillespie lead. Very significant now. 200 to go at this turn that they're coming to. (7:13.32). So again, the pace is slipping. It's not giving any of the others a chance to come back at it though. That was around 1:14 and a half. So we're now probably around the 9:40 territory, I would say. So just carry in your shot. Now you see the other girls coming in with Leah Hughes now ahead of Natasha Simpson. But surely too far back to do anything about Kerry Gillespie's lead. The question now is what pace Kerry can put into her swim here in the final 100. She'll get the bell sounding for her now. 100 meters to go. 8:27.27. Again, just under 1:14. So flat pacing would be 9:41, but you certainly would expect her to take a bit off that. So let's see if she can get under 9:40. Leah still leads Natasha by about a body length. But they are 7-8 meters back on our leader. Final turn for her. She goes through at 9:04. So that was around 37 for her penultimate length. So this is where you would expect her to take it up, see if she goes to the legs. Not yet. Leaving it pretty late to do that. You see a little bit more leg action now. Natasha maybe just having a wee go to come back at Leah Hughes. So a little battle going on there now as we see Kerry Gillespie finishing, straight arm finish there and coming into the wall. Does get under the 9:40, 9:39.38. Nice little surge from Natasha Simpson to get herself back past Leah Hughes to claim second place, with Leah just behind her. There's your 1, 2, 3. So 9:39.38 will be the target time for the heat tonight. You'd think they'll not have too much trouble getting past that. So from 800 we go down to 50. It's men's 50 backstroke with 4 heats this morning. Ledge is just going in at the turn end of the pool. So once they're happy about that, you can see our heat referee there, David Downey. More grey hair than I've seen for a while from Mr. Downey, but it's... Here's our starter. He's happy. Cameron Mackey. Oh, I'm in the way of the camera. Sorry, guys. Where do I go? Right, left? Yeah, I'll finish off right. That's better. Much as we love seeing you, Cammy, I think we'd rather see these guys. Louis Lawler took a Scottish para record yesterday in the IM. So clearly in form. He's pretty good backstroke. He's in lane 2. Matthew Ferguson, Alfie Scott, Daniel Jenkins and Kyle Pate, the lineup here. All 5 of them entered in 27s. Looks like the action in lanes 5 and 6 here. Daniel Jenkins and Kyle Pate, although, well, coming through now in lane 3 is Matthew Ferguson, and it's Matthew who takes the win, 27.63. Alfie Scott second, Daniel Jenkins third. Heat 2. So we have Robbie Hemmings, Harry Turner, Luke Greenbank, Liam White, Craig McNally, Perry Gardner, Conor Massey, Tom Thornley. Robbie Hemmings winner in the 100 backstroke, junior winner I should say. Craig McNally took third in that event. Liam White, the fastest entry time of these swimmers, 25.38, timed at the British Summer Championships last year, which he won. Good starts in lanes 2 and 3, Harry Turner and Luke Greenbank. Luke second in the 100 backstroke, was mainly known for 200. And it looks like lane 6, Perry Gardner, is the one who had the edge, although they're coming at him now. Maybe just going past is Liam White in lane 4, and it is White who takes the win, 26.09. Second, Luke Greenbank, 26.28, and Perry Gardner third, 26.48. Heat 3. Line up here, Andrew Sawkins, Grant Henderson, Mark Ford, Jacob Goodman, Nick Pyle, Joseph Small, Alex Mason and Sam Pease. Goodman with a 25.2 entry time. 3 or 4 tenths faster than anybody else on paper. He's in the mix with Nick Pyle beside him. It looks like Pyle has the edge. Sterling swimmer. Second in Bangor. Second in the British Championships. He's just got his nose in front of Joseph Small and Jacob Goodman. 26.36 to take the win. Second was Small, third Goodman. Not as fast as the previous heat though. And on to heat 4. Line up here, Alex Watkinson, Geoffrey Mathieu, Martin Walton, Joe Litchfield, Dan Cross, Scott Gibson, Philippus Iacovidis and Keir Edgar. And Litchfield, finalist in the European short course in December. Be the fancied one you would think here. Only one with a sub 24 second entry time. If we can get anywhere close to that, that would be remarkable. The Edinburgh International Meet record, that held by Nick Pyle, 25.45. It's good start in lane 6, Scott Gibson, the local boy, but lane 4, Joe Litchfield getting into his stride now. It's between the two of them as they come in, and it is Litchfield gets the touch, 25.74. So that is the fastest we've seen. Will earn him lane 4 tonight. Of course, it'll be one opening round, Fast and Furious, and then into Skins later on today. Gibson will be there as well. Nice swim from him. So we stay with 50 backstroke and switch to the women. And this time, once again, we've got 4 heats. Confirming then Litchfield the fastest qualifier for that 50 backstroke men's, ahead of Gibson and Liam White, second and third fastest. There's the lineup for the first heat for the women. Aphrodite Todi, the Greek from Kalamaki, Ellie Turner, Ellis Shields, Isabella Rennick, Neve Ritchie. The lineup here. A bit of a pause, not quite sure what the delay is here, but swimmers just keeping themselves warm and limbering her up. You see in the background the swimmers getting ready for heat 2, the ones up by the blocks for heat 1. So all these little twitches and playing with the goggles. And just really want to be getting going. But the whistle goes now, so we are ready to go. Five swimmers. Entry times all just over 30 seconds. In fact, all in the 30.4s. So this could go anyway, you would think. Nice start in lane 2 from Greek swimmer Aphrodite Todi. But now moving nicely is Isabella Rennick of Millfield in lane 5. I think maybe she has got the slight edge now, finest in the British Summer Championships last year. Is she going to hold them off? It's all getting close again. Pushing through nicely in lane 3, Ellie Turner, and Ellie just nicks it in the end. 30.86. Second place was Aphrodite Todi and third Isabella Rennick. There is the confirmation, and the time's just 300ths between Aphrodite and Isabella. 30s and 31s the times there. Heat 2 is the first of the cycle-seeded heats. It just seemed to be taking enough time before we get this going. As we saw the 100 backstroke yesterday, Jessica Fullerlove, who goes in lane 4 here, was involved with that. In third place. So Duffy, Caitlin Duffy, Jasmine Eiley, Charlotte Evans, Jessica Fullerlove, Emma Russell, Tati Tostevin, Scarlett Ferris and Anna Green. Line up here, 28s to high to 30 low, the range of times. And as you'd expect, lane 4, Jessica Fullerlove pulling away. Was second here last year. Going with her, Tati in lane 6 and Anna, the youngster from lane 8, having a good swim. But it's going to be Fullerlove taking it pretty comfortably, 28.90. So that was pretty close to her entry time, which was the time she did here last year, just a quarter of a second away from that. A nice swim from Jessica there. Tati Tostevin taking second, and Emma Russell taking third. some of the same characters coming up that we saw in the 100 backstroke yesterday. Cassie Wilde was second in that, in lane 4 in this heat. Line up Yasmin Perry, Katie Shanahan, Emily Crane, Cassie Wilde, Molly Allen, Emily Ford, Kira Standing and Rachel Saunders. Again, as with the previous heat, range of time 28 to 30s, 28.4 to 30.3. Cassie Wilde looked very strong in the early stages of her 100, so she could be up for a fast sprint here. Scott, based in Stirling, British University's champion, in fact faster than her entry time in Sheffield, 28.33. Never she can be anywhere close to that this morning. And will she save her fire for later? Certainly looking set to win the heat fairly comfortably. Looking really smooth here. Look at that still head. Great classy backstroke. Nice dip into the wall. 28.52. So that was a pretty impressive heat swim from Cassie there. Just 900ths away from her entry time. And nearly 4/10 faster than we saw from Full of Love in the previous heat. Emily Crane taking second. And Katie Shanahan was third. Kathleen Dawson will be the fancied one in the final heat. She goes in lane 4. That's the lineup. Lara Mills in 1, Alice Meldrum in 2, Lotta Upan in 3. Then it's Kathleen Dawson in 4, Lucy Hope in 5, Emily Grant in 6, Amy Shields in 7, Emma Scobie in lane 8. 28.12 entry time for Kathleen. Time she set last summer at the Scottish National Championships. Had a bit of an injury-plagued season last year, but looking fighting fit this year. Winner in Bangor recently. Winner, of course, last night in the 100. Good start, though, in lane 3. That's Lotta Upan, the flying Finn. Dawson getting into her stride. So beside her is Lucy Hope and Emma Scobie going well over in lane 8. But it looks like it's Dawson just edging past Hope now and stretching it out to around about a metre and a half lead as she comes in 28.31. So another cracking swim there. So these backstrokers looking good this morning. Dawson 28.31. Lucy Hope in second. Lotta Upan in third. The 50 backstroke showing some good fast swimming there. Dawson, Wilde, Full of Love, the top 3, as you would expect. So could have a reprise of the 100. Looking forward to that. There's some really strong swimming because we saw an update. The top 5 swims overall based on FINA points get the prize money, the big prize money for this meet, and Kathleen Dawson was in the mix with her 100 backstroke swim last night, and she may well get a higher point score in the 50, I would think. Good sprinter. We'll wait and see on that one. But we're getting ready now, back to the start end. Not a lot of action going on there at the moment, but it will be men's 100 breaststroke scheduled to go. Swimmers just being held in the call room at the moment. There's 4 heats scheduled to go in this one. Plus what we have with, of course, everything that's going on at the moment. We have had a number of withdrawals, particularly from international teams. Not surprisingly, international travel quite problematic at the moment, so we do have fewer heats than we scheduled. So to keep the timings straight for the athletes, there will be 1 or 2 pauses through the morning. Looks like we've got one of them here. Let's give us a chance just to reflect on what we've seen so far. At 400 IM. I've just started. So there Williams, Sharanek, Carino putting in good solid swims. And that first heat of 800 freestyle and then 50 backstrokes. Litchfield very strong looking in the men, and Dawson and Wild and Full of Love all looking good for the women. But the men now getting themselves organised for the first of the 4 heats. In this first heat, times 104s and 105s. They line up. Youssef Batout and City of Glasgow in lane 1. Greg Fairbairn of Bells Hill in 2. Morgan Berryman from the University of Stirling in 3. Dave Bloomfield of Loughborough in 4. Ross Young, Edinburgh University in 5. The paraswimmer Scott Quinn goes for Warrender in 6. And Richard Kozhbayev of Loughborough University in 7. Scott Quinn will be looking to make another Paralympic performance later this year, or whenever it happens. So he's in lane 6 here, silver medalist in Rio. But leading the way in lane 4 is Dave Bloomfield, finalist in the Swim England Winter Championships just before Christmas. And he goes through in 29.76. Quite an emphatic lead he's got from Youssef Batout in lane 1, and beside him Fairbairn, and now moving up in lane 5 is Ross Young and Richard Kozhbayev in lane 7. So after a strong start from Bloomfield, he's coming under a little bit more pressure in the second length, but he's not going to be caught. It will be Bloomfield from Ross Young. Loughborough, Edinburgh, 1-2, 1:04.97. Just 3/10 away from his entry time. That's in the hundreds. We have an A and B final, as well as a junior final. So we'll see whether 1:04.97 will be good enough to get a second swim. Well, we'll see. Certainly the entry times for these next 3 heats, which are all pretty stacked, are faster than that. And just taking our time to get this next group out. But here they come. This one will feature Ross Murdoch in lane 4. Beside him, the Irishman Nick Quinn, who trains here in Edinburgh. And there is the full lineup. Joel Thompson of Ellesmere College in lane 1. George Hopkins from Swansea University in 2. Edward Baxter of Loughborough National Centre in 3. Ross Murdoch, University of Stirling in 4. 5 is Nicholas Quinn from Edinburgh University. 6, James McFadden, Loughborough University. His colleague James Brown is in 7. William Ellington of Millfield in 8. William Ellington was the top junior yesterday in the 200. Very nice swim from him. We'll see how he does here in the 100. Up against these big boys. 17 this year, William. Ross, ripe old age of 26 this year. So they're now set and ready to go. Ross Murdoch with a sub-minute entry time, 59.21. He did that last year at the British Championships, where he was 3rd. And he certainly opened up a pretty healthy early lead here. Up by a body length from Quinn. I think just has second, although George Hopkins up there as well. In fact, it is Hopkins in second. 28.50 the split for Ross Murdoch. Was second to Wilby in the 200 yesterday. Certainly no issues with this 100 heat. Looks like Quinn maybe has just gone into second, although still going well. In lane 2 is George Hopkins, but it's 101.07 the winning time for Ross Murdoch. We really do get spoiled here in Britain in the quality of our breaststroke swimmers. We almost take them for granted now, but that was a superb heat swim, 101.07. And we've got more stars coming up here in this one. Tobermory Mackay champion goes in 1, Harry Devlin in 2, Adam Chillingworth in 3, James Wilby, the winner of the 200 yesterday, looking in fine fettle in lane 4, David Murphy, his Loughborough colleague in 5, Kyle Boyack, University of Stirling in 6, Daniel Lim, the Malaysian from Edinburgh University in 7, and Lewis Fraser, Swansea University in 8. So will be 58.46 entry time. That was his time from last year's World Championships, silver medalist behind Adam Peaty. David Murphy on a 100. Entry time Chillingworth on a 101. Of course, a few years ago, those would have been British leading times. Just shows how things have moved on. So Wilby is out pretty fast with David Murphy about a metre behind him at the halfway mark, 28.32. So that's 18 hundredths faster than Murdoch's time at the 50 turn. And again, it is a masterclass going on here. Wilby, that strong even stroke, about a body length up now on David Murphy, who's looking pretty good. After that, it's going to be tight, all vying for places in the A final. Lane 8 is certainly up there, Lewis Fraser, but it's Wilby and Murphy, the 1-2. Well, I don't think that's right. Coming up on the board, 49.17, well, he'd love that. I think we might just see a correction to that. It has been scrolled on that, but surely that is going to be corrected. We'll just wait on that one. 102.14, David Murphy. And adding Chillingworth in third. I don't think there's a problem with the placings, but there's certainly a problem with that time from James Wilby there. That does need to be sorted. You should get a picture of that board before it changes. 49.17 now has gone off the board, and I think these swimmers in the final heat are just going to have to wait a little bit while that gets sorted out. Not quite sure what happened to the electronics now. We will have backup times to slot in. And of course, having to pause and wait now in his final heat, including Adam Peaty. So the lineup for the fourth heat: Liam Davis of Plymouth Leander in 1, Conor Bryan, the City of Oxford in 2, Archie Goodburn of Loughborough National Centre in 3, Adam Peaty, Loughborough National Centre in 4, Craig Benson of the University of Stirling in lane 5. It looks like lane 6 is going to be empty. 7 is George Clough from the University of Stirling, and 8 Cameron Muir from the city of Glasgow. Still a bit of a pause going on while they figure out what to do about that time for Wilby. It looks like we've got it now, and it's coming in 1:00:65. So that's perhaps a bit more of what you would have expected. About 4/10 faster than Ross Murdoch's time from Heat 2. I wouldn't be at all surprised if we see something under the minute from PT here. We'll see how hard he's going to push it this morning. Craig Benson, double Olympian beside him, because 100 breaststroke was the swim he did in London, and it was 200 breaststroke in Rio. But he's not living with PT at the moment. PT up by a body length already as we come up towards the turn with Benson in second place. Let's check on this. 27.69, so he's certainly pushing it out here. That was around 6/10 faster than Wilby. So we're seeing something special here, ladies and gentlemen, as Adam Peaty pushing it hard down this second length. He's taking it very seriously, this heat swim. No messing about here, taking it easy. The meet record, he holds 58.73. He's not going to be quite at that pace here, but he's certainly going to be under the minute. 59.55. Brilliant stuff once again from Adam Peaty, and he will have lane 4 for the finals. Second place was Craig Benson, 1:01.77. He'll be reasonably happy with that. And then Archie Goodburn, formerly from Warrender, so knows this pool well. He takes the 1:04.02. So that was your top 8 there. And we'll see how that slots in to our finalists. I think there'll be PT, Wilby, Murdoch, Murphy, Benson, Quinn, Baxter, and I think Goodburn will. Well, I'm not sure he will sneak in actually. I think Chillingworth maybe will take up that last spot in the final. $100 butterfly. And in fact that's confirmed on the scoreboard here on the screen as Chillingworth 8th spot, Goodburn in 9th, so barring any withdrawals he'll be heading up the B final. Women's 100 butterfly is next to come, just the 3 heats here in this one. Swimmers to watch out for here. In this first heat, Laura Stevens run very impressive in the 200. Charlotte Atkinson scheduled to go in heat 3. With Siobhan Marie O'Connor and Emily Large either side of her. The Scottish record holder Tane Bruce goes in heat 2. Got the lineup for the first heat. We have Kate Mills, Loughborough in 2, Kiana McInnes, University of Stirling in 3, Laura Stevens of Plymouth Leander in 4, Harriet West, Loughborough National Centre in 5, Yasmin Perry of Aberdeen Performance in 6, Kira Standing of Loughborough University in 7, Melody Jones, who was the top junior yesterday in the 200. She goes to Borough of Stockton in lane 8. We'll see how strongly Laura pushes this one out. She's up there with Harriet West at the moment in the centre lanes. As we come up to the turn, it's going to be these two. I think Laura will get the touch in lane 4, which she does in 27.96. Laura 3rd in the British Championships last year. Represented GB at the European Short Course, progressed through out of the heats in this one. Well, certainly An exciting talent, 21 this year. But Harriet West is right there with her. Both of them under the minute. 59.37 for Laura. 59.57 for Harriet. And taking third was Kiana McInnes in 101.99. Second heat. Getting ready to go. Empty lane in lane 4. Alice Thomas, you can see there, it was scheduled to go there, but she's not here. So we'll do our best to manage without her. Wherever you are, Alice, hope you're doing well. Missing you. 6 swimmers then. Ella McNamara of pool in 1. Gaia Alcaraz having a performance in 2. Katie Robertson of Edinburgh University in 3. Payne Bruce, Edinburgh University in 5. Kira Morris of Millfield in 6. Yvonne Brown of East Kilbride in 7. So it's lanes 3 and 5. Robertson and Bruce, the 2 Scots, 2 training partners at Edinburgh. And there's not going to be much between them at the turn. Maybe Tame Bruce, I think, will just get the touch. Yes, she does, 28.39, about 4/10 back on Laura Stevens' time. Also up in the mix, lane 2, Gaia Alcaraz, so it is 3 Scots, being pushed by Kira Morris of Millfield in lane 6. But Bruce, you would think, is the one to take this one. 2nd in the British Universities, 6th in the British Championships, and bronze medalist here last year. Takes the win in 101.30, so a fair bit down from the first heat, couple of seconds down. Alcaraz coming through to take 2nd, and Kira Morris was 3rd. One more heat of women's 100 fly. Line up in this one. Katerina Price, Bath University in 1. Caroline Carruthers of Loughborough University in 2. Emily Large of Newcastle Swim Team in 3. Charlotte Atkinson of Loughborough University in 4. Siobhan Marie O'Connor of Loughborough National Centre in 5. Maisie Elliott of Plymouth Leander in 6. And Abby Wood, Loughborough National Centre in 7. Charlotte, silver medalist in the British Championships, represented Britain at the World University Games last summer. Has the fastest entry time, 57.88. And she took a decent start in lane 4 beside her, Siobhan Marie O'Connor. Just pipped in breaststroke yesterday. Abby Wood going well in lane 7. And also in lane 3 is Emily Large, silver medalist in the 200. 27.79, that is the fastest split of the 3 heats. And it is now Charlotte who's got maybe a metre on the 3 chasing her. With lane 3 perhaps the favourite for 2nd, Emily Large, in fact clearly in 2nd now, as they come in 59.87, so in the end a little slower than Laura Stevens. Charlotte I think will be 2nd fastest behind her. Emily Lars certainly will be comfortably in the final with that 1:00:15. Siobhan Marie O'Connor, well, we'll just need to wait and see on that for her. Is 1:01:39 going to be good enough to get into the A final? I think the answer is yes, it will. Be his 6th spot overall. So she'll be there. Looks like it's Stevens, West, Atkinson, Large, Bruce, O'Connor, Alcaraz and McInnes in the top 8. Men's 200 fly is next to go. And here we've got 3 heats. There's your lineup for the first of them. Jonah Walsh of Edinburgh University goes in 1. Rhys Allman Cunningham of Loughborough University in 2. Adam Wilson of Newcastle in 3. Logan Fontaine of Vikings of Rouen in 4. Edward Redrich, University of Stirling in 5. Mark Elric in 6 for City of Glasgow. And Isaac von Fintel of Leicester Penguins in 7. Nice start from Edward Rednich, a Romanian training in Stirling. Bronze medalist here at the Scottish National Short Course Championships. And he turns 27, 66. Right there with him, Frenchman Logan Fontaine, 5th in the French Championships last season. French, another team that have announced the postponement of their trials. I'm sure Logan's plan for this meet was to prepare for those trials. As with everybody else, you have to go back to the thinking board and decide how to approach the very uncertain future that this season has. 3rd place, lane 6, Mark Elric, looking pretty good. City of Glasgow swimmer. Bronze in the Scottish National Championships last year. 50 to go, 1:32:51. He's pacing around 33 seconds. And still it's Rednich and Fontaine at the front, Romania versus France. And it's going to be advantage Romania. There's Edouard about a metre up, easing into the wall 2:04:79. Second place was Logan Fontaine, 2:05:33. 3rd, Rhys Allman Cunningham, 2:07:36. Just waiting for that result to get confirmed. Looks like it is now, though. There it is. So Rednich 2:04:79. Certainly would expect the next 2 heats to be faster than that. Line up for heat 2. Cole Hewitt goes in 1 for City of Sheffield. Alex Watkinson of Warrington in lane 2. Jacob Greeno back to the pool in lane 3 for Bath University. Then 2 Plymouth swimmers, Tom Bealey in 4, James Hart in 5. Looks like we have no swimmer in 6. 7 is Felix Gifford from the University of Stirling, and 8 Peter Allen of the Isle of Man. So the 2 Plymouth swimmers with the fastest entry time, 1:58 for Tom Bealey, 2:02:80 for James Hart. Tom Bealey Scott based down in Plymouth the last year and a half. British summer champion, Scottish national champion, third here last year, sixth in the British Championships. This is very much his event, 200 fly, and he is going to be first to the world, 27.21, around 4/10 faster than the first heat. Second place, James Hart. So the two Plymouth swimmers, as you'd expect from the seedings, leading them down the second length. Bealey with a lead of maybe a metre. Yeah, about that. Halfway, 58.19. Now a second and a half faster than the previous heat, and pretty much exactly 31 pace there. So we're looking at something around the 2-minute mark, you would think, unless he eases up in the latter stages. Good race going at the bottom of your screen there. Hewitt versus Watkinson. Northeast versus Northwest. Sheffield and Warrington. 1:30.28. So it looks like they have eased back a little bit. That was a 32. Well, Tom on his third length. He's broken well clear now of his teammate James Hart. James, British summer champion. Much younger, just 16 this year. So he's looking good here. So 2:02.50 for Bealey, Hart 2:04.52. Be interesting to see what he can do tonight, if he can get anywhere close to the 2:01 meet junior record. But it was Bealey in that one, pretty comfortably. Alex Watkinson taking third in the end, fairly comfortably by about a second and a half over Jacob Reno. One more heat. And there's the lineup. Mark Ford, City of Glasgow in 1. Ben Harrison in 2 for Loughborough. 3 is George Barber, City of Sheffield. Then we've got James Guy from the Bath National Centre. Jamie Wilkes of Loughborough University. Zach Logue back in the pool for Newcastle. Craig Greenock, City of Glasgow. Marcus Scullion at Portsmouth North Sea. So James Guy, second in the 200 free yesterday behind Tom Dean. Been doing quite a lot of butterfly in the last year or so. Bronze in the European short course. He's the reigning British champion. So we'll see how he goes here. Entry time on 56.51. Lovely start there from Guy, using pretty much the full 15 metres off the dive, and straight away now a body length clear of the others. I'm taking it out pretty hard here, so expecting to be a fair bit faster than we saw from Bealey, over a second faster, 26.08. So okay, in complete command of proceedings. Barber in lane 3 and Wilkes in lane 5 contesting second. But they are quite a long way behind. James Guy now, about 4 metres. Will the guy just keep this going? Will he? He's back in the second half, 56.59, so about a 30.5 for his second 50. Wilkes also getting under the minute, as was Barber. So certainly those two will be looking to be in the A final, as well as James Guy, who surely has a lane 4 pretty much booked now. Through the 150, 127.84, so 31 and change there. Victor Bromer holds the meet record in this one, 157.64. that won't be broken this morning, but well, wait to see tonight. This guy certainly looks up for this today. He won't have liked not winning the 200 free, and particularly perhaps Tom Dean beating him. But certainly no issues here on the 200 fly. Very comfortable as he comes in here, 20082. So just scaling back down that last 50, but the work had been done, and he'll claim lane 4 later. It was Jamie Wilkes in second place. Ben Harrison getting third, 205 and 207 respectively. .400 IM will be next up. The guy certainly will lead the way in that 200 fly. Bealey will be there, Hart will be there, Rednich, Fontaine. Check the full lineup shortly. Just 2 heats for the women's 400. Line up for heat 1, Mia Leach, Ellesmere College in lane 2. 3 is Yvonne Brown of East Kilbride. 4, Hannah Miley, Aberdeen Performance. Amber Keegan in lane 5. Megan Byrne in 6 for Bath University. Amber Keegan for City of Sheffield. And Faye McDonough, junior, from the Borough of Stockton in lane 7. Juniors for the girls, 17 and under at the end of the year. Hannah Miley, certainly would be the one you'd fancy in this. British record holder. That record been around for quite a long time now. Just pipped to the post in the Gold Coast by Amy Milner, trying to make her 3rd successive 400 IM Commonwealth gold, but didn't quite get there, having won in Glasgow and in Delhi. Yvonne Brown with the faster start. You don't usually see Hannah going out that hard in the fly section of this IM. It's the later stages where she comes to her own. Okay, McDonough going well in lane 7. Miley started to ease up. She was 3rd yesterday in the 200 fly, so nothing wrong with her fly whatsoever, particularly the longer distances. And she does now have the lead, 106.42 after 100. She was 2nd behind Amy Wilmot in Bangor recently. Won the British Summer Championships, won the Scottish National Championships. 3rd here last year when she was really just off the back of injury, which cost her about half of last season. Still has company, Amber Keegan up there with her. Amber, silver medalist at British Universities recently. 6th in the British Championships. Did her entry time quite recently in the Amsterdam Cup, where she was 3rd. And she is alongside Miley now, maybe just slightly ahead of her. 3rd is Yvonne Brown of East Kilbride, 18-year-old this year, silver medalist in the British Summer Championships. But it is now Keegan who's got the advantage, maybe a metre up, 2:21.30 against 2:21.70 for Hannah Miley. Miley doing her best to close that gap now in the breaststroke. So Yvonne Brown trying to stay relatively close to them in lane 3. Coming up to the 250 turn, and Miley has just about closed the gap. It's still going to be Keegan, I think, just with the touch, but not by very much. 1700s, 303.25 against 303.42, 305 for Yvonne. And now it is Miley back into the front. Has turned a metre deficit into, well, I was going to say a metre's advantage. It's more than that now. She's stretching it away in the breaststroke. Was this breaststroke and freestyle where she shows her strength traditionally. Been top of her game at Wonderland for so many years. The ultimate professional. 3:45.11. 50 to go. Yvonne Brown has done well to stay with these two stars. 18-year-old showing very good form here, and she's starting to push Amber for second now as Miley turns for home in 4:19.07. Lead now 2.5 seconds over Amber Keegan, who just has about 1.4 over Yvonne Brown. Looks like she'll hold Yvonne Brown in third. And Smiley bringing them in. 4:39 entry time, but nowhere near that this morning. No, we'll see how much she can take off 4:51.86 tonight. Certainly would expect her to be quite a bit faster than that later on. Keegan 4:55.13 and Brown 4:57.65. 1, 2, 3. Confirmed there on the screen. Leachburn and McDonough taking up the other spaces. So 4:51.86 the time to beat in Heat 2. The line up here. Ellie Riley of Heart of Midlothian in 1, Guy Alcaraz in 2 from Aberdeen Performance, with her teammate Ola Adams in 3. 4 is Amy Wilmot from the University of Stirling. Katie Shannon, City of Glasgow in 5. Lana Brookhoven, Plymouth Leander in 7. And Ellie Turner of Perth City will go in lane 8. In fact, no, she's in lane 7. No swimmer in lane 8. So Amy Wilmot, certainly you would fancy here. British champion, Commonwealth champion. Winner in Bangor recently, so she's on good form. Represented Great Britain at the Worlds. Just missed the final. Off they go. Alcaraz, strong flight swimmer, off to a good start in lane 2. She's up there with Wilmot early on, with Katie Shanahan, who's a very exciting IM talent, going in lane 5. Scottish junior record holder, took Hannah's Scottish junior record, which stood for many a year. Took that last year at the European Juniors, where she was bronze medalist. So it'll be interesting to see how close she can stay with Amy Wilmot here today. Still Gaia Alcaraz right up there in lane 2. Wilmot maybe just ahead of her now in lane 4. And Shanahan on her shoulder. And it will be Wilmot with the touch at the 100, 1:04.61, so nearly 2 seconds faster than the previous heat. Into backstroke. Shannon now, I think, into second place ahead of Alcaraz. But the gap starting to build now between Wilmot and Shanahan. Amy Wilmot's been training in Stirling for a while now. Obviously that is working well for her. She's been showing some great form ever since she got there. And that lead is building very nicely now. As we approach halfway, Hannah Miley split. In fact, at that stage it was Amber Keegan 2:21.30. This will be quite a bit faster than that. Amy Wilmot turning 2:15.92, so about 5.5 seconds faster than the first heat. Still in lane 2, Guy Rockrass in third place, ahead of Orla Adams, but they're all pretty well stretched out now at the front. Wilmot with a lead of about 7 metres. She holds the meet record, and this one 4:35.84. Keep an eye on that one. I don't think she'll be threatening that this morning, but looking in very solid form, so maybe tonight. Katie Shannon holds the meet junior record. That was 4:51.93. I think that might well be in trouble tonight. Set that last year. It's a year on. Expected to be faster. The youngster. 3:34. Now over 10 seconds faster than Hannah Miley's split. So again, as we saw in the 200 fly from Jimmy Guy, we see Amy ease back here, or she's going to continue to push it. So at the moment seems to be working relatively hard. We come into the final turn. 4:08.44. So that was just under a 34 split there. So it's going to be in the low 440s, you would think. Entered 4:36.98. That was her time from last year's British Championships. So she won't be at that sort of pace, but it's a really solid swim. Done it right on her own. You see nobody else in the shot there, even though it's pretty wide angle. So a very nice swim. 4:40.10. Well, I said low 440s. That was faster than I was expecting. And she didn't ease back at all. Shannon coming in for second. 4:51. Looking at that, 4:51.895 is that, I think. Her record was 9.3, 4:51.93, so she was just 200ths away from her junior meet record there. Surely that will go tonight. Third, Orla Adams, 4:51.28 for her. So there's confirmation of the 1, 2, 3. Wilmot, Shannon and Adams. Alcaraz fourth. Line up Wilmot, Shannon, Adams, Alcaraz, Brookhoven, Turner, Riley in that one, and progressing through into the final, Wilmot, Miley, Shannon, Keegan, Adams and others. Brown, Alcaraz and Brookhoven, I think, making up the top 8. So back to sprints now, 50 freestyle. 4 heats here. We shall line up for the first of them. Swimmers not out on the blocks yet, down at the turn end. You can see them there milling away up the far end of the pool, just being checked off. Make sure everyone's in the right lane. Great job from our marshalling team here this weekend. Make sure everybody's in the right place at the right time. So 50 freestyle will combine up with the women's 50 breaststroke for the skins tonight. Top 8 of course will qualify for the skins. Cash prize for the winner of round 1, and then another cash prize for the ultimate winner of the skins. The trick of course is to pick up both of them if you can. It does encourage swimmers to swim fast in the first round, which of course is where they'll get a ranking time. The times in the other rounds of the skins don't count for ranking times because the start conditions are not the same. A chance to get a bit of a wider view of the Commonwealth pool. Not the biggest crowd in this morning. That area you're looking at there is an athlete area. They're fairly well spread out, as is right and proper just at the moment. Quite a nice sunny day here. Not particularly warm, certainly wasn't when it came in early this morning. But bright, not raining, so that's a bonus. Not snowing, as we saw a few years ago. That's a bonus too. So as I said, this pause just really because I want to keep consistent with the timelines that were published, and if we've lost a few heats with swimmers not making the trip to Edinburgh this weekend. It looks like they're getting the athletes up to the blocks now. I'll just remind you who's involved in this first heat. Jacob Peters of Poole in 2, Ben Campbell James of Loughborough in 3, Alex Watkinson of Warrington in 4, Ivo Staub of Plymouth Leander in 5, William Riley of Bath University in 6, Chris Muir in 7 for Glasgow University. Times here 23.8 to 24.0. Jacob Peters, we saw in that 50 fly skins yesterday. In fact, there's a number of swimmers missing here. No swimmer in 3 or in 7. So just the 4 of them go. Peters, Watkinson, Staub and Riley. It will be interesting to see what Jacob Peters does in lane 2. He's set up there with Ivo Staub in 5. I think it's going to be Staub will take it. Straight arm stroke there and drives into the wall in 23.18, nicely inside his entry time. Peters in second, 23.87. So I thought he would be faster than at 24.01 entry time, and he was by a couple of tenths. To heat number 2, so into the cycle seeded heats now. Scottish record holder Jack Thorpe goes in this one with James Guy on his second swim of the morning. Beside him, line up there, Joel Waterson, Bruno Kempster, Daniel Jones, then Jack Thorpe and James Guy, Alexis Borisov-Yavlich, hope I pronounced him semi-correctly, Julian Chan Hui Lin and lane 8 Jeffrey Chen. All lanes occupied in this one. So Thorpe the sprint specialist against Guy, the 200 and butterfly specialist. Well, pretty close, maybe Guy edging it in lane 5 now as they get into their stroke. Thorpe now moving up a gear, and he is edging perhaps past Guy now. I think it will be Thorpe just taking it. Take on the time, 22.94. So good solid swim there. Within half a second of his entry time. Guy just behind him, 23.14. And then Alexis Borisavljevic in third, 23.48. Into heat 3. This one. There's the lineup. Just looking along the line. Looks like we've got nobody in lane 5. Scott McClave wasn't here yesterday, and it looks like he's not here today either. Everybody else seems to be there. So it's Matthew Ferguson, Ross Leslie, Sam Irvin, David Cumberledge, Jarvis Parkinson, Ben Martin, Lawrence Veeremans. David Cumberledge, Jack Thorpe's training partner here in Edinburgh. Englishman, winner in the World University Games, did 21.9 there. British University champion recently. In lane 6, Jarvis Parkinson, and in lane 3, Sam Irvin, but it's Cumberledge in lane 4 who's up by the best part of a metre and takes the touch in 22.70. That's about a quarter of a second faster than Thorpe's time. Solid heat swim from him. Sam Irvin second, Jarvis Parkinson third. One more heat of this 50 freestyle. Interesting that Duncan Scott going in this one. Don't see him doing 50 freestyle too often. He was fourth here last year, so did swim it this year. Maybe fancies a go at the skins tonight. He should be well fitted, you would think, for the skins with the 200 strength. Yakovidis, Boyek, Scott, Bowen, Bain, Jones, Henderson and Constantine. The 8 here. And Alex Bowen with the fastest in time. Joint silver medalist at British Universities, joint 4th place at British Championships. In his CV, time he's got to try and beat 22.70 if he wants lane 4 in the final, but it's lane 5, Callum Bain, the Ulsterman, who's going to take this one. Based in Stirling, coming up strongly as Scott, so it's a Stirling one too, with Callum Bain taking it 22.29. He'll be the fastest qualifier. That was a pretty fast time there from Callum Bain. He was entered 22.58, which is his time from last year's Irish Championships. So very impressive stuff there from Callum. Duncan Scott also looking pretty good there, 22.45. That was half a second faster than he was entered on from his time last year. Alex Bowen in 3rd place. What does that mean for the skins qualifiers, I wonder? Well, we're about to find out. It's only here in the venue. They've got the board showing summary on there, but they're not showing us. Here it is. So it's Bain, Scott, Cumberledge, Thorpe, Guy, Bowen, Staub and Irvin just picking up the last spot. Sam Irvin. 22.29 to 23.20. Jarvis Parkinson's just missing by 200ths. Unfortunate for him, because there will be a junior final as well. Expect Reed Jones to be in that. The Plymouth man is 23.88. 50 breaststroke now though for the women. 3 heats here.
Duncan did a 22.45. Came outside Scott's record.
Just looking at that Duncan Scott time, 22.45. That actually matches Jack Thorpe's Scottish record, so congratulations to him. So he matched the Edinburgh International record in the 200 IM yesterday. Now he's matched the Scottish record this morning, 53. Well, is there anything that man can't do? Here we are with the first of the breaststroke heats. Amber Owen, Bridget Lemasurier, Laura Kinley, Mona McSharry, Angharad Evans, Rachel Taylor and Orla Adams. Mona McSharry, the Irish star from Ballyshannon Marlins. The fastest century time. She's not having it all its own way though. Angharad Evans, who's had a really good swim yesterday in the 200, in the 100 rather. Looks like she's going to take this heat very nicely done, 31.83. So good swim there again from Angharad. And 2 more heats to go now for this women's 50 breaststroke. Looking down the line, looks like we're missing lane 5 here. Tatiana Belonigov was scheduled to go in that one, but she's not here. So we have Laura Hawkins, Anna Morgan, Cara Hanlon, Fanny Leclerc, Becky Burton, Isabella Rennick. Belgium, Fanny Leclerc, Belgian champion. Oh, they're just being asked to come off the blocks here, so something's not quite right. So they'll reset and go again. Yeah. Got some distracting noises going on up in the area where the swimmers do their stretching. Just settle everyone down and invite them back up onto the blocks. Now we talked about Fanny Leclerc. Cara Hanlon has been showing some good form so far this season. She'll be in lane 3, British University's champion in this one, in 31.6 in Sheffield. Entered here 31.89. So still just pausing proceedings. We've got very calm and quiet here at the moment. Commonwealth pool as we wait for this one to go. Referees will want to have everything just right. Just when you see swimmers, just need to get themselves loose, just deal with this little delay. Good experience for them to have this at a meet like this, because if they get it in a big meet, then they'll know how to deal with that. And now it looks like we're ready to go. And off they go. So Leclerc with the fastest entry time, 30.92. Very experienced Belgian, 28 this year. The sprinters can go on for a pretty long time in their careers. And she's certainly up there, but Cara Hanlon is right there with her. Said she was on good form this year, and I think she might just nick this. So it's the local girl, Cara Hanlon, who gets the touch, 31.91, just 800ths behind the time we saw from Angharad Evans in the first heat. Good swim from Cara. And 4 so far not having it their own way in these heats. One more to go. Jana Spinner, Maya Hall, Katie Goodburn, Sarah Vasey, Megan Morrison, Elizanne Pinfold, Annabelle Guy Johnson and Nicole Stack. Line up here. 30.81 the fastest end time here. Sarah Vasey, the British champion, silver medalist at the World University Games. That's where she did her 30.81 time. Winner in Bangor recently. Coming down the pool. She's up there, but so is Elizanne Penfold in lane 6, but I think this time it will be a lane 4 win. Sarah Vasey just moving away now in these last stages, and in the end it's a pretty comfortable win for her, 31.21, and that is by some margin the fastest qualifying time. So she'll have booked her place in that 50 breaststroke skins. Goodburn was second, 32.31, and Pinfold third, 32.55. So it's Vasey, Evans, Hanlon, Leclerc, Goodburn, McSharry, Pinfold and Kinley will be the 8 making it through to the skins event. So we go back to 800 freestyle now. Again, here we've got the first heat going this morning with the second heat going in tonight's finals. Looking down the line, the 5 scheduled swimmers are all there. Jack Fleming, Loughborough University in 2, Liam McLaughlin of Warrender in 3, Adam Wilson of Newcastle in 4, Kieran Thomas also from Newcastle in 5, Alex Dakers of Bath University in 6. Entry times here 8:22 to 8:42. So coming down the first length, Kieran Thomas of Newcastle. A good 1500 swim yesterday. Now showing us what he could do in the 800. Won the top junior last year. Still a junior this year. 18 is the cut-off for men. He is 18. He also came up here in December, swam in the Scottish National Short Course. 5th in that. 59.84 at the 100 for him. Beside him could be a Newcastle contest here with Adam Wilson in lane 4 in second. He beat Kieran at the British Summer Championship. Both of their entry times come from that. 8:22 for Adam, 8:24 for Kieran. But Kieran got the advantage in this pool in December in short course. 5th there to Adam's 7th. So it should be pretty well matched, you would think. And of course they will know each other backwards. Approaching 200. Still advantage Kieran Thomas. Maybe a metre and a half, 2:04.70, just under 65 split. So probably in sort of 8:30 pace rather than 8:20s here. It's very hard for unrested distance swimmers to match their PBs. So it'd be unfair to expect that of them. Behind those two, we've got swimmers on the near side, Fleming and McLaughlin. You can see on the left of your screen. third and fourth, ahead of Bakers in lane 6. Still the Newcastle boys. Thomas leading Wilson, 3:09.66, again a 65, just under. So that is the pace that they've settled into. Jack Fleming maybe fancies his chances to go with them. Top 8 spot in the Dave McCullum meet for him. Loughborough took the trip over to Northern Ireland, along with a whole host of top British swimmers, in fact. So maybe the gap just shrinking a little bit now between Kieran Thomas and Adam Wilson. These two edging away from Fleming and McLaughlin. This is halfway. Gap still maybe around a metre, 4:14.52. He's 4:15.10, so just over half a second in it. Again, another just under 65, so very settled pacing. You certainly feel that there's a race in this one. There's a certain amount of bragging rights involved here in Newcastle ranks. And you do feel that Wilson just edging a bit closer to Thomas now. So another 65. We were looking for a 5:19 here. Right on cue, 5:19.57. Let's check on the gap now. It's actually stretched a little bit. Just suddenly, it was up to about 9/10 there. That's the biggest it's been. You can see now a body length advantage. So it looked like Adam Wilson was maybe closing on Kieran Thomas. It's now the other way round. Thomas just edging away from him. Let's see at this time whether he's got it to over a second. I think he might have done. 5:52.09. Yeah, 5:53.68. So a second and a half now the gap. And suddenly Jack Fleming perhaps will sense some weakness in Adam Wilson and may want to push for second place. He's still a fair way back behind him. But Kieran Thomas now looks to have taken control of this race. 200 to go. Let's see whether he's picked up pace at all. 6:24.36. No, it's still very much just under 65. Now he's been on that pace throughout. It's Adam Wilson who's not been able to hold on to that pace. That's been the difference in the last couple of 100 metres. And definitely Jack Fleming is now edging closer to Adam Wilson in third, vying for second. With Liam McLaughlin, you see on your screen there on the left behind him. 6:57.06, pretty sizable lead now, about 3 seconds for Kieran. So if he has maintained the pace, we'll be looking at a low 7:29 at this next turn. As he gets the bell, coming in, it's now pretty much on that, 7:29.48. So hopefully he'll pick up some pace in this final 100. So say he gets to a 63, that would be 8:32. Entry time, as I said, in the 8:20s, 8:24. It is getting tighter for second now. Adam Wilson will have to British teeth if he's to hold on to it. Final turn for Kieran Thomas, 8:01. So no acceleration in his penultimate length, but you certainly would expect him to pick up the pace now. Stroke rate increasing, the leg starting to go. And pushing it as hard as he can. It's getting tighter, second, third and fourth now, with Liam McLaughlin making some progress in between the other two, but Kieran Thomas close for the first half, not at all in the second half. 8:33.53. Who gets second? Really close there. McLaughlin came from a long way back. He just edges it by a tenth. Good stuff there at the end. As our final summer, Alex Dakers comes in. And the summary coming up on your board. As you see there, just 1/100th of a second there for Liam McLaughlin to touch out Chap Fleming and Adam Wilson, who've been in second. Well, for probably 799 of those 800 metres, ends up fourth. So from 800, we finish off the session with 3 heats of women's 200 freestyle. And just taking time for the swimmers to come out to the blocks. Looking at this one, saw a new meet record from Honey Osrin yesterday. She'll go in the first heat alongside Catherine Greenslade, Welsh swimmer based in Edinburgh, and Abby Wood as well, a strong contender in this first heat. Then we've got Georgie Coates, Emma Russell, who also set a new meet record in the 50 free. She goes in the second heat in lane 3 along with Rachel Masson and University in 5. And then Freya Anderson, who showed some great form through the skins yesterday, winning every round. European short course champion, of course, goes in the final heat in lane 4 with Lucy Hope beside her, and Monique Olivier, who won the 400 in that heat as well. Set a new Luxembourg record yesterday in the 400 free. So that's what's to come in this final. It's just taking a little bit of time to get these swimmers out. So everyone just get a chance to relax, take a bit of a breather for our final spree. Meet record in this one held by Jazz Carlin. Freya Anderson holding the junior record. No longer a junior, of course. British record, Joe Jackson. So that's been around for a while now. 155.54. Whether the current crop of freestylers can challenge that in the next year or two. Caitlin McClatchy, another fairly mature record, the Scottish record, 156.62, because stunning career Caitlin had. British and Scottish teams over the years. So the swimmer's out now.
Let's go, honey.
And in this first heat, there's the lineup. Sophie Lewis-Ward of Edinburgh University in lane 1. Katie Shanahan, the City of Glasgow, in 2. Honey Osrin of Plymouth Leander is in 3. Catherine Greenslade of Edinburgh University in 4. Abby Wood of Loughborough National Centre in 5. Emily Large of Newcastle Swim Team in 6. 7 is empty. Lane 8, Molly Francis, Loughborough University. Just the one swimmer in this heat with a sub 2 minute entry time, Catherine Greenslade. Catherine, winner in the British Summer Championships, Scottish National Championships, representing Great Britain in the World University Games, finalist there. Just ahead of her, though, is Abby Wood in lane 5, and she's the first to turn, 27.93. Abby Wood did a sub 2 minute at the Dave McCullough. She won that. Also won the British Universities in an even faster time, 1:59.66. So she's shown some really good form this season, and certainly showing it here as well. Up by about 1.5 meters on Greenslade at the halfway mark, 58.15. Against Greenslade's 58.78, I think it was. Greenslade maybe just closing the gap a bit now. Third place in lane 6, Emily Large, the butterfly specialist from Newcastle. And Honey Osrin in lane 3 from Plymouth. Those two contesting third, but it's Wood and Greenslade. Not much separating them now, just 300ths as they go into the final length. And Greenslade now showing the power in this last 50. Moved past Wood. Has a lead of maybe 0.5 meter or so. Still third is Emily Large. She'll not be caught. Osrin looking good for 4th. But it will be, in the end, a fairly comfortable win for Catherine Greenslade. Pretty good time, just over the 2 minutes, 2:00.48. Abby Wood pushed it hard early on, second to a 1:99, and in third was Emily Large, 2:05.55, half a second ahead of Sophie Lewis Ward, just edged past Honey Osrin at the end of that one. All 8 lanes occupied for Heat 2. Amy Grant for Loughborough in 1, Lauren Wetherill of Ellesmere College in 2, Emma Russell of Hearts in 3, Georgia Coates of Bath National Centre in 4, Rachel Masson of Edinburgh University in 5, Amelia Rod of Ellesmere College in 6, Laura McNabb of Bath University in 7, and Phoebe Griffiths of Ellesmere College in 8. Georgia Coates, 1:59.40 entry time she did at last year's British Championships. Bronze medalist there. She has the early lead from local swimmer Rachel Masson. Others pretty close as well as they go through 50, 28.38. Not quite as fast as the first heat, where we did see Abby Wood pushing it pretty hard in that first 50. Coates maintaining that lead, pretty tight behind her. Is, I think, just Rachel Masson in second, but others very close. 58.94. 8/10 now back on the first heat at the halfway point. Nice turn there from Georgia Coates. Just give her a bit of a impetus into this third length. Masson still holding third. Going well in lane 1, Amy Grant. And lane 3, Emma Russell. Probably at the top of her range of distances. 50 to go, 1:29.92. Getting closer now to the splits from the first heat. I wouldn't be surprised if she ends up a little bit faster than Greenslade in the end. Really tight now for second. Amelia Rodd is going well in lane 6. She is pushing very hard and has moved past Masson into second place. Masson, I think, will take third, although Phoebe Griffin's going well in lane 8. But it's going to be Georgia Coates being in charge of this heat, and she takes it by about 2 meters in 2:01.78. So I was totally wrong about her going faster than Greenslade. In the end, about 1.3 back. But that certainly will be comfortable for a top 8 spot. I would think Amelia Rodd taking second, Rachel Masson third, Emma Russell was fourth. So we're into our final heat of the session, heat 3. Claire Anderson certainly the star name in this one. The lineup: Marion Honke of Loughborough in 1, Greta Colbeck of Plymouth in 2, Candice Hall of Loughborough University in 3, Freya Anderson, Ellesmere College in 4, Lucy Hope of Edinburgh University in 5, Monique Olivier of Edinburgh University in 6, Jess Podger in 7 for Millfield. 1:56 Freya entry time. British champion, European short course champion. Need I say more? Good start though from Lucy Hope in lane 5. Looking to maybe just make a bit of a marker here. 6th in the British Championships. Did her time picking silver medal in the Scottish Open. 28:17. Fairly steady start. Anderson just on Hope's shoulder, others fairly close. Candice Hall, Greta Colbeck, and Monique Olivier. That's superb 400 yesterday from Monique, smashing her own Luxembourg national record. So there's 4 swimmers, all pretty close at the halfway mark, 59:19. The split, that is the slowest split of the 3 heats by a little bit, but now Anderson starting to make her move out of that turn. Straight away she's moving through and now has a body length advantage over Hope on one side, Hall on the other, and Monique Olivier still in that group. But well, Anderson just moved up that body length and now seems to be holding it at that. So there's very much a tactical race from her, not wanting to push it too hard this morning, but she has now the fastest 150 split of the 3 heats, and looking strong as she comes down this final length. The race is about second. You probably don't want to be 4th in this one, and it looks like that might be Candice Hall at the moment. No doubt who's going to take the win. It's Anderson with a very strong second half, well, particularly that third 50. Look relaxed then on that final 50 in 2:00.69. In the end, slightly slower than Greenslade's time, but I don't think that will bother her too much. She'll be in lane 5 for the final. Very strong final 50 from Monique Olivier to push herself up into second, 2:02.01. So another good solid swim from her just outside her entry time, with Lucy Hope taking third. So that concludes proceedings for this morning's session. We will of course be back later on today. So we look forward to seeing you in the not too distant future. Just checking on the times for you as to when we'll be back with the afternoon heats. But it's been a good morning here, and we will see you back shortly. And I can confirm that our afternoon heats, I can't confirm actually, it's not on there, but we will be back for that.